Welcome back, Ryan,
I'm here
for yet another.
once again.
Once again, dragged back out. We've got some
Out
doomsday
of the hole
news.
you keep me in
Yes, out the little
while we wait for us
box.
to record podcast.
My box has Ryan and pubes in it.
And both my cats somehow.
And both,
We
yeah.
all fit.
Yeah, it's quite disgusting, actually. It fucking stinks.
Yeah,
Somehow the pubes
my bad.
are not the worst thing in the box.
I also farted. So
It's very on brand for you, actually.
What is
Anywho,
that supposed to mean?
I just feel like if you were put in any kind of confined space, you'd be the first one to fart.
Yeah, I do have anxiety tummy aches. I get really bad, so it happens.
Do you want to hear some exciting doomsday news?
I do, in fact, want to hear that. Go right ahead. What is exciting about this movie? The one thing.
Yeah, the only thing that is exciting about the film Avengers Doomsday is that apparently, I don't know if this is like legitimate, but there is going to be the first teaser trailer in front of the new Avatar film.
Say what?
A year in
They're
advance.
making another Avatar film?
Yeah, that's the plot twist there. Yeah, in front of Avatar fucking Ash and Fire or whatever it is. I think that is actually what it's
So
called.
I have to go see Avatar in order to see this teaser trailer. That's ridiculous.
Yes, you will. Or wait until somebody films it and puts it on Twitter.
In like 10 minutes after it shows up for the first time.
There's going to be people that will go and buy a ticket, watch the trailer, and then leave.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I had contemplated
But hey,
but like
maybe this will get Avatar a fourth movie.
it's getting like 6.
Are you for real?
Yeah, it's getting like 6.
It spent so long only having one movie. Why are we doing this? What is happening?
Yeah, this is not what the conversation was supposed to be about, but
I know I latched onto it too much.
But
I just
when he came back to do the sequel, that was part of the deal, was like he's gonna get an entire
God.
franchise. How many Avatar
insane.
films will there be? 5. There will be 5.
The first one was barely good enough to account for the rest of this.
So the Fire and Ash is the 3rd film. A 4th film will come out in 2029, and then the final film will be 2031.
God damn.
And I think they filmed like a lot of this shit in advance. Like, I'm pretty certain this one and the next one, like a lot of it was filmed like in bulk. So
That's probably for the best.
they're stacking up. I mean, they're making money, so good on them. And
If they already know they're gonna do these films, they probably already know the storyline. It's
yeah.
You're gonna want to start filming things now so that you could do flashbacks and all that stuff. Dude, actually, oh wait, no, we can't talk about that. I was gonna bring up The Walking Dead.
No, you're all right. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving swiftly on from that doomsday news. I went to
We
London,
didn't even talk
Ryan.
about the actual doomsday.
No, we don't want to anymore. I've had enough. I went to London.
Oh yeah,
Let's
you've
talk
been
about
up to
London.
some stuff.
I've been away.
Up to some shenanigans.
So, I went on a I can't speak. Jesus Christ. Went on a 2-day trip to London. Had like a whole shit ton of sightseeing. Went to go see a play. Met my boyfriend, who doesn't know that he's my boyfriend. And
yet.
no. And then went to London Dungeon and then came home. So
Oh, wow.
I took a shit ton of photos and did a shit ton of stuff. Got to experience.
And there will be a montage
The fucking
over
won't.
the video right here.
You can go to
I'm
my
gonna make-
Instagram and you can look
I'm
at the
gonna make-
fucking. You're not gonna make anything. You can look at the highlight and pretend it's a fucking slideshow yourself, because I'm not editing that shit in. But got to see a lot of iconic shit. Got to go see Buckingham Palace. Got to go see Big
yeah.
Ben, London Eye, that big ass Ferris wheel that I bought a ticket for and then bottled.
You're
Because-
like, I actually can't do this.
No, legit. So I was across the fucking river looking at it, and I'm like, oh, I'm quite excited. Like, I can do this. This will be fucking cool. I can get some, like, really, really sick photos. It'll be a great experience. And then I was walking across the bridge, and I was, like, looking at the water, and the water was the thing that got me. Like,
oh, man.
I don't fuck with water, okay? I'm not
do you
a
know how
strong...
to swim?
I think? I don't know. I don't want to try.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm not gonna try anytime soon, and I don't want to be put in a situation where I'd have to.
I think I could be a lifeguard if I wanted to.
Okay. Well. Okay.
I would save you from all the way over here.
I feel like
you could have definitely went on the Ferris wheel.
I hated walking across the bridge. Okay, and like the water's quite fucking high. Like it's pretty. Yeah. It's a pretty fucking high river. So I'm walking across this huge ass bridge. There are hordes of people. You cannot... I'll talk about the fucking, like, just how heavily populated this place is, because holy shit. It was, like, being on a different world. And I got to the other side, and when I walked around, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some food and whatever, and I'm getting closer and closer to this big-ass fucking Ferris wheel, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like... Oh my god, and like my heart is going. My fucking literally, you have to like tilt your head that much to see the top of it. It's insane how tall this thing is, and I'm like after looking at the water.
Is it very wide?
You know what? Not really. Which I feel like
that's
also...
what scares me about Ferris wheels.
Yeah,
that
factored
so, like, thin and tall. I'm like, something's gonna blow. The wind's gonna blow a little bit too hard, and it's just gonna knock this bitch right over.
That's literally what I was thinking. So I'm...
it's gonna knock me into the water.
I'm like fucking sat there Googling, has the London Eye ever fallen over? Which, for the record, no it hasn't. So...
That still didn't make you feel safe enough.
No.
The first time it happens, it'll be, well, you're on it.
Exactly. But when I was looking at it, the fucking AI overview was the one that told me. It said, like, no, the London Eye has never fallen over, but it has malfunctioned and stopped multiple times.
Oh, Jesus.
Stranding passengers inside of the capsules for hours at a time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're all right. You're all right. It's already a half an hour experience to get to the top and come back down. I don't want to go to the top and then not come down for the next 3 fucking hours.
Yeah, because where you're stuck, like you're stuck there.
Exactly. So...
And you don't get to move.
I was like, back and forth. Am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? And I was like, no, fuck this. Not interested. I was like, I don't need this in my life. My family member that I was speaking to about it was like, oh, you might regret it. And I'm like, well, I can fucking do it when I'm older. I'm not doing it now.
Yeah. I'll come to London and I'll hold your hand.
See,
and we'll be okay.
I actually thought like, oh, well, maybe if I was with somebody, it wouldn't be as bad. But doing it on my own, I was like, I don't need to experience this right now.
Because then, also, if you're trapped alone in a small box, and you just only have yourself and your thoughts to keep you company. And I mean, no offense, but you're not a very like calm and collected person under stress.
No, exactly. I start screaming and shouting.
That's not great.
The arms start going. I start rage baiting myself. I don't want to do it. So yeah, I got tickets for that, and I got like this dual ticket where you could like go on the London Eye and then also experience London Dungeon, which I'll loop back round to London Dungeon because it was like the last thing that I did. But so went to like a lot of iconic places, so like familiar places that we've seen in like Doctor Who and stuff, which was pretty cool.
That is fun.
Like some very iconic London landmarks. I showed you what you called the Concrete Park, was Trafalgar Square. That was probably like one of my favorite like tourist spots because there's just like there was some dude dancing and performing his own little concert.
Yeah.
There was like graffiti being done. There was like one of those dudes that was like painted like a statue that wasn't moving or anything.
I love street artists.
Yeah, there was a lot of shit going on there.
Stuff like that is so fun.
And like right behind it is the National Gallery, which you can enter for free. I didn't go in it this time because I'd been in it before when I was a lot younger. and you can like walk around and look at a lot of interesting art and like photos and things. And
plan a heist.
Exactly. And then nearby to there, which I didn't even realize how close it was, but Piccadilly Circus, which you've seen Sherlock, yes? We've had this conversation in... So God, here we go. Season 1, episode 3, when Moriarty is like putting bombs on people, he puts a bomb on somebody and sends them to Piccadilly Circus. And in the show, it's like, you know, it's a very recognizable London place anyway, but it's very, very crowded in the show. And like, you know, he's going to fucking threaten to detonate this bomb in this vastly populated area. I didn't realize it was going to be the exact same in real life, and like constant traffic, hordes of people. It was the same around Trafalgar. Like you had to like maneuver yourself between these moving hordes of people going in one direction and going another, because if you stepped out, you were crossing the stream. And you were getting in people's way. And I got warned before going there. Everyone was like, oh, when you go to London, if you need to stop to like look at your phone or something, step to the side, because people are like really busy and rushing around and stuff.
They'll trample your ass.
I got so angry because I was the person rushing around. I was the person that was like, people were stopping in front of me. And I was like verbally saying like, what the fuck? Because somebody would be right in front of me and just stop.
You got in that city mindset immediately.
I did. I turned into the fucking hey, I'm walking here kind of guy. I was like, why are we cutting in front of people and fucking, you know, these are people that live in London as well. Like, you know. Yeah. I thought it was wild. I got rage baited multiple times. And that's funny. I don't verbally like interact with people like that either. I'm not that kind of person. But London brought it out.
Especially after like everybody warning you not to do it, then you go and see like 80 people doing it to you. It's like, what the fuck is this? I thought we had decorum here.
People stopping at the entrances to shops. People stopping at the top of stairs coming out of subways.
That would piss me right off. I'd shove you down the stairs.
One of the busiest places that I went to was Westminster, which is where Big Ben, it's like opposite the river from where the London Eye is. And honestly, like some of the biggest crowds of people that I've ever seen in my life. And I was coming out of the subway and this woman just stopped on the top step. And I just verbally went, what? Because I was like gobsmacked. I was like, how are you not like checking to see if there's somebody right behind you? Like, there's so many people here. Holy shit.
Blind trust and faith.
That was probably my least favorite thing about the entire trip, was just having to like maneuver around when I thought that like you see certain groups of people moving around like a bit like a hive mind, right? Where like this group is moving in this direction, so people are like joining on and also going in that direction, and then like opposite and stuff. There's a lot of lines and a lot of cues and things. But then you get somebody like darting through or darting across or suddenly changing the flow of it. And it's completely different to where I live. Like, I'm fucking like living in a small town in the fucking sticks. Like, our town center's tiny and like full of smackheads, and you know, it's easy to maneuver around the place. But yeah, it was so fucking frustrating. It was crazy. On the plus side, the place looks amazing. Like, there were fucking electronic moving billboards, which I've never seen in person.
Ooh.
I've never seen a fucking billboard that, like, plays a video before. What the fuck?
Really?
Living in the 18th century over here.
I've seen... They have trucks now that drive through Detroit, and they'll be playing videos on the sides of them, which is really distracting to drivers.
Yeah, I'm not
surprised. I don't know, like, why that's legal, but there was one that was playing... It was actually someone was recording it, and it was playing a new Eminem music video or something like that, just on the freeway.
That's wild.
Why are we doing that? That's crazy.
like some of the architecture there was really fucking cool to see. Like some of the buildings are so old. You can see like some of them. Like I went to a certain part of London where like you could kind of see a lot of what looked like maybe 60s or 70s office blocks that had been built. They were a little bit like grungier and a little bit like not sleek and modern, but not like old style medieval kind of buildings. They were like in that awkward in between phase. But
cool.
there was a lot of like just really, really nice looking architecture, like sculptures and stuff on the side of buildings. Like I got to multiple sections of it and it looked like Gotham. And it was
and
I'm talking like both. So when I went to the Jack the Ripper Museum, there I had to walk past like this, I guess it would be like an overpass that had some of the tube on, and it was all like graffitied on the side, and there was like a lot of trash bags and stuff and a few like homeless tents and things. It looked like grungy Gotham. And then getting into like the middle of the city, you know, you've got like all the grand architecture and like the sculptures and statues and shit, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, you know, these two completely different like cultural kind of vibes, but in the exact same city. And that was like kind of cool to see, like the juxtaposition of the two.
I do think that's pretty cool. I feel like you guys too, over there, you have a lot of even older buildings than we can possibly have in America, no matter what city you're in. Just because of like the fact that it's been around a lot longer. So that is like, I would love to go visit Europe and like see all that old shit, because we have nothing like that yet here. I mean, we have some things that are like from the 1800s, but it's not really like that. It's not as old. Like you guys have like 1600 type architecture that you can go see and look at, which is crazy to me. Or like in Paris they have the catacombs, which is completely different, but like still, like that is nuts. That stuff just sits there.
Just really, really old stuff that's like been preserved or updated, but like still kind of kept the same. And like there was so many buildings that like the building itself was like super old, but they would have like a renovated shop or something in the bottom floor at the base of it, and you can kind of see like as you look up the building, you know, it would have this kind of like tacky souvenir, you know, shop at the bottom of it. But then it would like go up and it'd be like this fucking grand architecture with like these window ledges and stuff with like carved stone and things. And it's like, holy shit. Like it is a really visually aesthetic place to be. And I love, again, it's probably a fucking Batman Gotham thing, but I love cities in rain. And not so much when I'm in it, like I was on my second day, walking around squelching fucking...
No umbrella.
Yeah, no, fucking found out that day that the jacket that I took wasn't waterproof. But the visuals of it were still really, really nice. Like, it was still, when you got onto like a little bit more of a quiet street and you get to see like the taller buildings with the rain and stuff, it was quite nice to be in.
Dude, you know what's the craziest, though? Is when it starts getting foggy.
I'm glad that it didn't while I was there.
It's so scary, but it's also so cool.
Considering
I like...
the fucking Jack the Ripper stuff that is, like, plastered all around London. No, you're all right.
Damn.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There are some places that, like, get so foggy you literally can't see. I remember one of my coworkers was like, that is the time to do crime, because, like, you literally, like, no one can see you do it.
Oh,
it's
so
too foggy out.
I was kind of thinking that when I was in, like, some of the more populated areas. I was like, I can totally see how someone could get murdered and get away with it, because you can just slip into crowds and slip into, like, alleys and stuff. It's not as cut and dry as, like out here. Like, yeah, you can fucking follow somebody onto like a back street and, you know, whatever. But at the same time, it's a lot less populated and there's a lot less people here. So,
and even with like, you think that more people is gonna give you like safety, but all the people in the city are like so busy and so in their own world that like they really don't care about the things going on around them unless it's extreme.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you definitely can get away with a lot of shit.
On the same, like, kind of note, though, that was one of the things that I enjoyed was I kind of felt like if I lived there, I could like look how I wanted, dress how I wanted, and nobody would give a shit because everyone is so busy doing their own shit.
Yeah,
And the chances are they've seen somebody that looks weirder than you
100%.
because of just the mass amount of population that were there. Like there had to have been like hundreds and hundreds of people just in Trafalgar Square alone. And that was like
Yeah.
3 or 4 streets, that then split off. It was just like one square section. Like just the amount of people that were shimmying around through like traffic crossings and traveling around in cars and things. It was just crazy how many people there were. But yeah, I went to go see the Jack the Ripper Museum, which it was kind of what I expected. It was like a small business kind of place. It wasn't, this huge thing. It was a small, like 4-floored shop, basically.
Right.
And you got given this pamphlet which listed like what was on each floor, and it was the first floor was like a recreation of a crime scene and what it might have looked like, and then the second floor was like a recreation of what, based off of like who the suspects and stuff are, what Jack the Ripper's apartment might have looked like. Then the third floor was a recreation of a police station. The fourth floor was a recreation of one of the victims' bedrooms. And then you came all the way back down to the basement where there was a recreation of the pub where a lot of the victims frequented. And it was like said that Jack the Ripper would kind of like pick his victims from that pub. So it was really, it was an interesting experience. I wouldn't have said that like, I don't think I necessarily learned anything new about like Jack the Ripper and stuff, but I didn't really go to. I just kind of went to see like, I don't know what it was all about, and to just like out of intrigue.
Displays are pretty cool though. Like
Yeah.
that stuff is kind of fun to look at. It really like helps you immerse yourself into that situation.
Oh yeah, no, it was like the production of it all was great. There was like so many props and like items of clothing and stuff.
You sent me those pictures. I genuinely would have been terrified in there. Like probably like I can't do like wax figures or anything like that. I remember I went to the Louisville Slugger Museum in Louisville, Kentucky, because I was going on like this road trip with my family. We just happened to be there, and that's where they make baseball bats. But they had like these wax figures in this section of baseball players, and even that like is not supposed to be creepy. But I like literally I'm just looking at it like, do not fucking move, I swear to God. Like I can't handle it. You look too real. I don't even like mannequins a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like that episode of Doctor Who where the mannequins came to life. Hated that. I didn't like that at all.
I've got to admit, like I'm pretty alright with shit like that. The only thing that gets me is when I went to London Dungeon, there were a couple that were like hooded and stuff, and you couldn't really tell whether or not they were actual people or mannequins. So that was pretty scary because you weren't...
Have you seen the videos of like actors who like pretend to be their wax figure and then they scare people in... I hate that shit. I swear to God.
I don't know. I don't mind shit like that. I'm alright with it. I can cope. I can cope with stuff like that. Unless it's like if it's a specifically scary aesthetic, like if there is a motherfucker dressed as Jack the Ripper and suddenly he's moving, I'm out.
Yeah, no.
If it's just a regular mannequin, then I'm alright with it. So yeah, went to that. Then I went up to Tower Bridge. I didn't get any pictures really of like the Tower of London and Tower Bridge. The Tower of London is like where they basically used to torture people. And Tower Bridge was like, I think where they used to keep people captive and stuff. The Tower of London currently has the King's jewels in, not the Queen's jewels. But again, from Sherlock, when Moriarty like smashes the glass and sits on the throne, that's basically the Tower of London. So you get to like, you can pay to go in
that's
and like...
That's where you need to do the heist.
Well, when you pay to get a ticket, that's where you go through, is the same place he went. you get to do like a tour around the entire place. And
Oh, nice.
I wasn't particularly interested. I was like, I'm all right. I'll save my 50 quid.
I've seen it already.
Yeah, pretty much. On the theme of Sherlock, I went to Baker Street. Obviously, Sherlock,
Yay.
not a real human being, but you can
Sadly.
go to 221B Baker Street, and there's a little Sherlock Holmes museum there.
Oh, that's cute.
You can like, I haven't been in because there was a long ass line, but you can go in and they've like recreated Sherlock's apartment, and like, you know, you can buy
That's
the
kinda
hats and things. You
cool.
can, yeah, they've got like the books and stuff for sale and all sorts of shit. It's a big shrine to Sherlock Holmes, which is great. There's a lot of
Nice.
pubs and stuff that I walked past, references to like Agatha Christie and Sherlock Holmes and stuff. There was so many theaters playing. I saw fucking Shooty Gatwa on the poster for a theater performance. I didn't know he was doing
Oh.
like West End shows.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see. I didn't know that, like, you know, they're doing a Stranger Things
You know what?
on Broadway.
You know what? I actually heard that a lot of British actors do really good when they act, obviously, because of the fact that a lot of them get like that theater experience.
Yeah, so this
Which
is
is
like
very different than like acting in any other capacity.
So this is like the thing with, I mean, I sent you that clip of Benedict Cumberbatch in Frankenstein, but like
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, Ian McKellen, speaking of fucking Sherlock again, Andrew Scott, who plays Moriarty, he does a lot of theatre stuff. I mean, I went to go see Joe Locke in a play. You know, Kit Connor
Yeah.
went and did Romeo and Juliet with Rachel Zegler. Like,
Yeah, I remember that.
a lot of like pretty big names as well. Like Benedict Cumberbatch did Frankenstein, like, you know, after the Sherlock and Marvel exposure. So a lot of big names go to do theater performances. And I mean, Ian McKellen is like fucking 90 and he's still performing. So
Yeah.
there's so many theaters there, like a lot of neon signs. I saw like advertisements for fucking The Greatest Showman. There was a fucking Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Paranormal Activity was getting like a stage adaptation.
That is actually, I kind of want to see that.
Same. I was walking past
What could
these
they possibly
places and
be
I was
doing
like,
that?
holy shit. Fucking Back to the Future. That one's apparently really, really great. There was like Wicked advertisements. I said before, Stranger Things. They've recently built an entire theatre at Canary Wharf, which Canary Wharf is where... God, we're going to go back to Doctor Who. Canary Wharf's where the battle for, like, between the Cybermen and the Daleks happened, and Rose got sucked through the thing. So
Yeah.
that's the importance of Canary Wharf. But at Canary Wharf, they built a theatre.
That's the importance
Yeah.
of Canary Wharf. Is
Nothing-
because it was in this TV show.
That's the only reason the
Nothing
British public
historical.
care about it. It's a very it's a very upper class place, I'm pretty certain. But they've built a theatre there specifically to show Hunger Games. And apparently that is also really, really great. So there's so many shows happening. There's like a Michael Jackson one. There's Matilda. Little Shop of Horrors was playing. There's so much
Michael
shit.
Jackson theater experience.
I was actually thinking as I was walking past some of them, I was like, if Ryan ever visits London or like visits the UK, we need to do like the equivalent of a pub crawl, but for musicals.
Yeah,
Like
that sounds awesome.
4 or 5 days where we see like 2 musicals or 2 performances every day. Hit them all.
We're gonna go see one on Broadway, but yeah, I would love to just
So
go
many
to a
of them.
bunch.
But yeah, that was like, I just would love to live in London, like just for the pure, like the entertainment factor. Like imagine just being
Yeah.
able to, you could, if you had like a decent paying job, which I would imagine a lot of them do in London anyway, you could go see like a
Yeah.
show every week. It is crazy.
That would be nuts.
I can't
And, like,
imagine living somewhere like that.
Your tickets weren't even that expensive, were they, for the show that you went to see?
No, and I was sat on the stage.
Yeah.
So on day 1, I went to go see Clarkston at the Trafalgar Theatre, and then on day 2 was my trip to London Dungeon, which they were like 2 very different experiences. But
Which one do you want to talk about first?
we'll go with the London Dungeon one.
Okay.
We'll bait people and make them listen to the whole thing because they're here for the Clarkston talk. But yeah, I went to London Dungeon, and that was like an exploration of the myths around London and like some of London's fictional stories and stuff. So it was essentially a haunted house tour. You got taken through this place in like a big group, and they did these little performances with like actors and stuff, and they would interact with like the people that were there, and they told you information about like the Jack the Ripper killings. They had Mrs. Lovett from Sweeney Todd. They had that one. I was really excited for that, and it was my least favorite. I was really upset because I really didn't enjoy it.
Dang.
They had fucking Guy Fawkes and blowing up Parliament for Bonfire Night. They had I got piss thrown on me.
Whoa, wait, back up.
So there was like a recreation. There was a recreation of like an old London medieval street, and it played audio of like somebody shouting, and then like water would spray on you and you would smell like manure.
Ugh.
So that was fun.
That sounds awful. What the fuck?
It wasn't a lot of water, it was just a little spray. It was fine. It was definitely unexpected.
And then you smell shit.
Yeah, you did. There was an entire street you had to walk down that just stank of shit.
Oh my god, they're really fully immersive.
They didn't even do anything in particular. They just opened the windows. That's just what London smells like.
Yeah.
Just the streets of London stink.
You get that, yeah. Cities stink so bad all the time. That's not even a joke. They really do. People are gross.
There was a fucking Dracula thing, which I didn't really see much of, but yeah, there was a dude playing Dracula, which was kind of weird.
Wow.
My favorite one, there was an amazing actress that was playing like a surgeon during the plague, and she was like rooting around in this dead body and like pulling out his intestines, and like she pulled out his bladder and like flicked it on people.
Oh.
But she was a great actress. She was doing a really good job with like the voice and stuff. She was really committed, which is why I didn't like the Sweeney Todd one, because the actress was doing pretty shit.
Oh.
I feel bad for saying that, but like, I don't know. She was like pausing for like laughs, and nobody was laughing, and it was just awkward.
You know?
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of it, unfortunately, even though I was really excited for the Sweeney Todd one.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, can we back up? I know that you said you didn't really look at it, but what does Dracula have to do with London?
So apparently he visited London.
Oh.
I think that
just on a vacation?
I think it's like, so Dracula is like, the story of Dracula is set in a place called Whitby, which is like a seaside town. And that's generally like, you can go to Whitby and there's like loads of displays and stuff. They have like entire fucking gothic weekends based around like vampires and shit there.
Oh wow.
There's like a whole cultural thing for it. I don't know, I was surprised to see, let me fucking Google it. Did Dracula go to London? Yes, Count Dracula travels to London in Bram Stoker's novel, where he plans to move from his castle in Transylvania and use the city's large population as a source of new victims.
That's valid.
So it's basically like when you see in Nosferatu, he arrives with his casket and he brings the plague with him.
Right.
It's that whole shtick, basically. I've never read Dracula, so. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of like what other displays there were while we were there. There was probably the best like visual one. There was a Jack the Ripper one where you go into the pub that I mentioned before from the museum. They had recreated the pub again for this Dungeons experience. And while the person is kind of telling you the information about the like the pub and the killings and stuff, the lights keep flickering and going out. and
Mm.
they had this strobe light suddenly kick in, and it would flash for
Oh,
like
Jesus
5
Christ.
seconds, and this dude dressed as Jack the Ripper would be up in your face with a knife, and then it would go dark and he'd be gone. And then it would happen again and he'd be like
That's
at the other
horrifying.
side of the room, and then it'd go dark and he'd be gone. They had... Oh, I think
They should have. Was it a group of people or was it just you?
there was a large group.
They should plant like an actor in the group and then have Jack the Ripper kill them.
They did that with the vampire one, I think.
Oh yeah.
They
That's
had...
cool.
I don't know, I was at the back, so I couldn't really see it too well. But he got somebody to come and stand on the thing, and then he was like asking like, oh, do I scare you and stuff? And she kind of looked like, like, oh yeah, whatever. And she didn't really look dressed appropriate for the performance anyway. So I think she had kind of like slipped in, and then they did like a thing where he took over, like he fucking possessed her or some shit. I don't know. I couldn't see it.
Interesting.
The other one though, I think it was my favorite. They did a witch trial one. I fucked
that's
hard
pretty
with it.
cool.
They brought you into like this sort of courtroom space where this woman, this witch, was in a prison cell, and basically like the concept was you're going to spend the night in this prison with this witch. And they like the guide left the room, the lights go dark and whatever. When they come back up, she's out of the cage. And she keeps like vanishing and going through like the walls and coming back out and like leaving marks on the walls and stuff. She's like leaving like red scratches and shit, like moving in between. She does this thing where like, I guess she's using her magical powers and making the seats like vibrate and like as if they're gonna move. And she scared the living shit out of me because the lights go dark, I'm sat on the end of one of the fucking benches, and she comes out of the door in the corner, and I feel like a slight draft, and suddenly the lights flickered on, and she was like a foot away from me, screaming at the top of her fucking lungs. And like, I don't even know what she said, because I was like, like it winded
That
me.
is crazy.
But it was really, really great. And then, like, she does her old performance, and then, like, the lights come back up, she's back in the cage, the person comes back in. It was kind of funny, because as we were leaving, the woman playing the witch, like, called over to the guide and was like, Shayla! Like, trying to get her attention to come over, and then they were talking normal and, like, breaking character. So that was kind of funny as well.
Shayla.
You would have, I think you genuinely would have really enjoyed it. It was one of those experiences that, like, again, if you ever visit, I'd love to do that and go through it again. I think you'd get a real kick out of it. But that was fun. It was like a good hour-long experience of just visiting these different performances and stuff. And yeah, it's one of those places where I'm like, Jesus Christ, how do you get so lucky that you get to work in a place like this?
Yeah.
Why am I trapped in the job that I've got, and you get to work in this haunted house doing cool shit? What the fuck?
Because usually, I mean, they have obviously places like that where you can be, I mean, there are like, people who do like roles at museums and stuff where they like pretend to be from that era.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Night
I
of the
also
museum
just
style.
I just like scare actors in general, or people who do like, I don't know, things around Halloween. I've always wanted to try to be one of those people, but
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence, I don't think.
I think I'd be okay at it.
I would need no
I'd
lines
be cool
to start with.
give it a go. It depends. I don't know. There was a lot of like, I think that's kind of the takeaway that I got from London is that, beneath how like heavily populated it is, and there's a shit ton of homeless people, like panhandlers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of traffic, a lot of people rushing around and shit, but like the entertainment side of it is so theatrical and so like it is like really human.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed that part of it, and when you go on the fucking internet and like everything's AI generated now and whatever,
Yeah.
I'd love to live in a place where you could actually go and see human physical performers like every single week if you wanted to. It'd be great.
It is really nice.
So, the highlight of my trip, I went to go see Clarkston.
Yeah.
Sat on the
and
stage, very casual.
I still don't really know. I still don't really know what this play is about at all.
No.
I've only seen pictures of Joe Locke sitting around and staring longingly into the distance.
Yeah, there wasn't really like a lot of information about the play really going into it unless you got like I guess the book, or they were selling the script in some places.
Wow.
There was like a bookstore kind of like in Trafalgar Square.
And is this an established story that like has been running for a while, or is it new?
As far as I'm aware, it's new.
Okay, that's cool.
Have you ever seen The Whale?
No.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we'd watch that. That's on the list.
Okay.
The Whale's
What is The Whale?
The Whale's a fantastic film about it's got like some queer romance in it, but it's about a morbidly obese guy who is trying to reconnect with his troublesome daughter, I guess. And he's sort of surrounded by people that are like enabling his obesity, and it's like, delving into whether or not he wants to get better, or he's basically in like the last week of his life because he's that overweight. And it's a really, really great story. And the guy that did The Whale, it was initially a play that got turned into a film that won Brendan Fraser an Oscar. It was a brilliant, brilliant performance. The same guy that created The Whale created Clarkston. And it's got like some similar themes of like dysfunctional families and things in it. There's kind of there was shades of Shameless in this, which you might like.
Really?
Yeah, you it's going to sound weird, but I'll get onto it. But so the general premise of the play is these two lads are working the night shift restocking a Costco. And one of them is called Chris, which was the one played by Ruaridh, and one is called Jake, who was played by Joe. And the third person in this play was meant to be played by Sophie Melville, who I don't know who Sophie Melville is, to the extent of like when the actress that came out, who wasn't Sophie Melville, I didn't realize it wasn't her. It was actually her understudy.
Wow.
I believe her name's Lizzie Clark, but I want to Google it because I really want to give some credit to her because she was phenomenal. And
That's good.
yes, okay, it was Lizzie Clark. Oh my god, there's a Lizzie Clark Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki. There's a character in the MCU called Lizzie Clark that's popped up. They put on the... Okay, it's not her fucking... I don't think it is. It says theatre work, including the hearing trumpet at the theatre, whatever, Three Sisters, and Molly at the Pleasance. It said on a thing that it was her debut, but it might be like her West End London debut. Either way, she was fucking amazing. Okay, like, she knocked it out the park, and you'll get like a gist of who her character is. But this was a 3-person play between the two boys and her, and they're working this night shift, and Jake is kind of like, I want to say like an upper class kind of person, whereas Chris is like a little bit more down to earth and like had a bit more of a rougher upbringing. And Jake's kind of whole thing is that he's in the area and fascinated with the area that they live in, which is a town called Clarkston, because his ancestors colonized the area way back when. Yeah. And they make some jokes about it and stuff, like very tongue-in-cheek. He multiple times he's like, "Oh, I'm not racist." There's some really funny moments throughout the play with like some witty one-liners and stuff. And So they're like the two characters that they set up, and both of them find out that they're both queer. Jake comes out to Chris, and then it's like, holy shit, wait, you're queer as well? And Chris is like on the down low, whereas Jake's more confident with it. And it's also revealed that Jake has something called Huntington's disease, which means he's going to lose all of his motor functions and die before he reaches 30.
That's terrible.
Yeah. I don't think I had heard of it before
This
watching
is like
this.
The Fault in Our Stars. For gay.
Pretty much.
And only one of them has a disease.
So then we get the introduction of who Lizzie Clark was playing. I can't remember her character's name, but she was playing Chris's mum, and she's essentially Monica from Shameless. So she used to be addicted to meth and had this dysfunctional, abusive household situation with Chris, and Chris ended up moving out. I think he's got student debts, so he probably went to college, and he wants to go to university, I'm pretty certain, but like he's paying off his debts and stuff. He's got a job, and but he's got like a dysfunctional, abusive upbringing because of her, and she's trying to get clean and trying to make things better, and she's meeting him like before and after work and like dropping him off shopping and things, and like trying to rebuild the relationship. In the meantime, like Chris and Jake are kind of like getting to know each other and building chemistry with each other. They do a really, really great gag where they try and hook up one night, and Jake can't get Chris's belt off, and then Chris tries to like give Jake a blowjob on the stage.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And like Jake can't get it hard because he's been drinking. There's like a lot of like funny moments, but then this is the thing that kind of made it a little bit more special. And we spoke about it like with Hannibal, I think, is it moved past like this queer romance being revolved around sex and being revolved around like physical intimacy. It wasn't about them kissing or like them having sex or anything like that. And the reason I bring up Hannibal is like we spoke at length about like the finale of Hannibal and how like they are in love even if they don't kiss on screen,
Right.
And they kind of like throughout this story they are together, but they're not like in a relationship kind of together. Like they're in love,
Right.
but they don't show it throughout the play because the play's not about that. It's just like an aspect of the characters. So they clash multiple times, and like throughout the play, Jake's condition is getting worse. He's like dropping things and stuff, and like he has like these spasms in his muscles and things. There's multiple arguments throughout, which were like super intense to watch. Like watching actual trained actors like scream and shout at each other was pretty fucking scary. And there's like a point in the play where Jake deliberately drops a very, very expensive TV. And like they had kind of mentioned before, like, if you can't handle carrying it because of your disease and whatever, just let me know and I'll help you. But they're bickering and going back and forth. So Jake deliberately does it because, money is not an issue to him. He's there like to be in the area and stuff and to just kind of like experience being there. Whereas Chris is like actively making a living from it. And
gentrifiers.
pretty much. They both end up getting fired because of it. So because Chris hid the disease from the boss, so he like implicated himself.
What the hell?
And
do you guys not have laws against that? What the hell?
This is based in America.
Wait, we have laws against that. You don't have to disclose medical information to your
Maybe you do with Huntington's disease.
That's fucking stupid.
I don't know, but they both got sacked. And, Jake doesn't really see it as that big of a deal. And he's like,
I actually was going to ask if they were British or American. Are they doing British accents, or are
they're doing American accents.
Like... Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, all three of them were. So they have like this row in the parking lot because, they both just lost their fucking jobs. And the mum shows up and is like, we can put a good spin on this. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's just leave Clarkston. You know, we can get in the car. We can all just fucking leave. It'll be fine. But Chris finds out that she's been using. So they get into, like, this huge fucking row. He, like, breaks down. She's, like, screaming at him at the top of her fucking lungs. It was, like, brutal to watch. And then she ends up, like, storming off and leaving. And it kind of, like, gets resolved in quite, like, a tender moment where, like, Jake goes over to Chris and is, like, sat with him and they're, like, reading this book together. There's, like, a couple of scenes a little bit earlier on where, like, Chris wants to be a writer and he wants to go to uni and, like, publish stories, but he ends up getting rejected from that. And that kind of adds to, like, you know, he got rejected from that. He lost his job.
That's
his
so
mum's
sad.
relapsed. You know, he's, like, proper down. Yeah, he's, like, fucking down in the dirt right now. So, but he wants to go see the ocean. And so, like, that's what they do at the end of the play. Like, the sort of happy moment to, like, bring them together. Jake and Chris go to the ocean. Like, both of them want to go see it. And I don't know, like, where the ocean is compared to, like, where the fucking play was set. But apparently they drove a hell of a long way. They get there, and Chris is like, okay, cool, let's leave. And Jake's like, fuck no, we just drove, like, 8 hours to get here. We're gonna hang around for a bit. And they, like, take a selfie in front of it and stuff. And earlier on in the play, it shows you, like, Jake with his Huntington's disease contemplates suicide multiple times. And there's a point where, like, he's on the edge of, like, this river and he wants to drop into it. And Chris is there and he says to Chris, like, you know, if I do this, can you wait, like, 20 minutes before calling anybody? And they have, like, a row back and forth about, like, you know, whether or not it's unfair that he's putting him in this situation and stuff. And so when they're together at the end of the play, they're stood on the edge of the water, like, both quite hopeful, looking off, like, into the light. And they both kind of, like, come full circle and seemingly, like, they're gonna, you know, Chris is gonna stay with Jake and, yeah, I almost said Joe. Tried to correct myself to the wrong thing. But seemingly, like, Chris is gonna stay with Jake until, you know, he ends up passing, and then hopefully by that point, like, Chris can do something hopeful with his life.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, like, Jake trying to wrap his head around the fact that, like, he's gonna die within the next decade, and Chris having, like, such a shit start in life, and, like, is just constantly getting worse and worse and worse, even though he's very, like, good-natured and he's trying his best, like, he's just not getting anywhere with it.
Yeah.
And then they both, like, come together at the end. It's very much like a coming-of-age kind of story. And I could, like, totally see it getting, like, some sort of film adaptation or something if you were to, like, flesh it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the performances were really great. Really, really great.
That's good. It sounds like a very interesting story. Did you cry?
Almost. But, like, early
Almost.
on, like,
Okay.
they almost got me a little bit more early on. I can't remember at what point it was. I think it was when, like, they started arguing for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to watch this because I hate seeing, like, when two people have great chemistry and then they fight. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't want it to go this direction. Please don't go this direction. But it was...
Especially, like, right in front of you is scary as
Yeah, no,
hell.
they were, like, fucking, like, 10 feet in front of me. So it was pretty intense. But, like, there were some really great moments, like, some visual gags and stuff, like I said, with them, like, with the fucking blowjob joke, and there's a scene where they have to, like, construct a tent together, and Jake's like, you know, I can handle it, my fucking ancestors were, like, camping and shit, you know, I know how to put up a tent, it's fine, and then, like, he tries to do it and he can't fucking do it. He just makes a complete mess out of it, and Chris has to come over and fix it.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know, they just had insanely good chemistry, which is, like, a running theme with any Joe Locke performance. But it's kind of weird because, like, even though I went to go see it for Joe Locke, I came out of it just being really, really, like, flabbergasted by Lizzie Clark and Ruaridh Mollica. I was like, holy shit.
Good.
Like, Rory's an insanely good actor.
Nice.
And
I mean, that bodes well.
I wouldn't have been upset either if he wasn't Tommy and he was actually Teddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I, like, genuinely, the chemistry there, like, it would have worked for me. Even though he doesn't look like Teddy, I would have been cool with it.
That's like high praise from you. That's like next level shit.
Listen,
Holy
if
crap.
you're a good actor,
even if he
I'm
doesn't look
I'm
like
for it.
Teddy.
Yeah. I'm down for it if you can act. So yeah, the story was really, really great. And yeah, like, it's just a really, really cool experience. It was fucking scary when it started because there was no warning it was gonna start. They literally just, like, out the corner of my eye, I saw Joe Locke come out of a door. I took, like, a deep inhale. I was like, what's going on? They just walked out of a door and Ruaridh, like, slammed his hands down on one of the props and the lights, like, focused in on them and they just started. They were just talking and the scene had begun. And it was just it was a crazy experience. I got my program signed after the show and I got to give Joe Locke some Young Avengers comics. Might end up in a bin somewhere, but I don't care.
You know, after he reads them, hopefully.
Yes.
Unless he's already read them.
At least read them first. From the way that he was, like, flicking through them, I got the impression that he hadn't read them. He didn't, like, look at them and go, like, Young Avengers and then just, like, look at the covers and acknowledge it. Like, he flicked through as if he didn't really know what they were. So that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I got, like, a little...
And you got your...
What?
Your signatures. You got your signatures on your little playbook or
yes.
whatever. Right?
That was when I found out that Lizzie Clark was the understudy.
Did you ask for a signature?
Well, I gave my book to Joe. I was like, I got you gifts. And he's like, gifts? And I'm like, yes. And I gave him my book. I was like, here, hold this. I reached down to
hold this for me, please.
Yeah. I was like, you fucking hold this for a second. Reached down to grab my thing.
That's so funny.
And, like, while I was getting the comics out, they passed the book around the three of them. And then,
oh, that's nice.
Like, I was like, here, take these are for you. And then he was like, for me. And I was like, well, you can, like, fight over them with Ruaridh if you want. Like, I don't really give a shit which one of you takes them. Just please, one of you take them.
Take them from my hands.
Yes, I was like, please. And, like, the entire time, like, in my head, I'm like, ask them about this. Say this. Like, thank him for this. Ask him about, like, show him the fucking tattoos. Like, so many thoughts, like, going through my head because, Jesus Christ, Billy Maximoff is, like, stood in front of me. And I was like, when he came out, I wasn't expecting to be first in line. I thought they were going to come out the other end and I'd be last. So I feel like if maybe...
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I thought maybe if I was last, you know, I would get a better chance to say something to him. But I kind of felt like, you know, oh, I'm first, shit, I better hurry up.
Right.
I didn't want to be that person taking forever. And to be fair, there was people there that had been multiple times as well. So I probably should have taken the opportunity while I had the chance. But it was still a really, really cool experience. And
I feel like, as scary as it is to be first in line, I feel like if I was last, I would be, like, thinking too hard about it.
Yeah.
The whole time that they're going down the line.
Oh, I was shaking. Holy shit, I was shaking. Like, one of the videos I've had to, like, I haven't posted it because I'm, like, shaking that bad. And also, like, when they're looking at the books, in my brain, I'm like, film it, make sure you film it, but, like, also look at it, like, don't look at what you're filming, look at it with your eyes. Because I went to a 5 Seconds of Summer concert when I was, like, 18, and I remember, like, looking through my phone or the camera or whatever, like, so much through that concert, so I've, like, tried my best to make a point of, like, if I go and see anything, make sure I see it with my own fucking eyes.
Yeah,
while
I've learned
also
how to
getting a
like hold
video.
my phone up, and then I'm like in the moment. But yeah, sometimes I look at the video, I'm like, fuck, what was I even focused on?
Yeah, that was my mate. I had like my phone like fucking propped up while I was watching them. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, it was a really really cool experience. And I fucking as soon as he walked out, do you know what he said to me?
Huh.
Motherfucker said hi, and I didn't say hi back. I never got my fucking heart stopper moment, Ryan.
Oh my
I
god, you
panicked
lost it.
because
You lost it.
it was like that thought process of like, shit, I'm first. And then I stared at him for like 2 seconds and he stared back and just went, hi, like prompting me to say something. And I just didn't, I was just a fucking wreck. I was like, oh my God, you're real. Oh my God, you're in front of me. My
That
God,
is
you're so
so funny.
tall. Like, holy shit, your skin looks
Oh my
amazing.
god.
I turned into Ed
I love
Gein for a
that for you.
second. I was like,
Oh
my
my god.
God.
Let me touch your skin.
Here is there space in my bag for me to put you in.
No.
My God.
I was gonna say, uh, oh man, I can't remember what it was. If I was like gonna comment it or something, or if I was just gonna text it to you. But like, I was like, he doesn't even know the kind of danger he's in. Or no, you texted me like I'm right behind him or something like that. I was like, he just doesn't even. He's in so much danger he doesn't even know it.
No, he was like, there wasn't a barrier between us either. I was stood like at the
Yeah.
end, and he was stood on the edge of the curb, and I was like down slightly. He looked fucking huge in front of me. Like, he's already
Is
taller
he
than me
tall?
anyway. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm like 5'7" on a good day.
And it's crazy because you're always like, oh, he's so small. He's such a
He
little
does.
guy,
He
and
looks
like he's
tiny,
not.
but he isn't.
He's
The dude is
not.
fucking tall, and
Yeah.
he was like towering over me, and like, oh my God, you're like the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I need to get out of here. But no, it was a cool experience. And I didn't ask him to sign my tattoo because it didn't. I was like, this is enough.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's nice.
I don't feel like I need it, and like, not to get super deep about it, but life is fucking depressing, and I do come from a
Hmm.
shitty fucking town that doesn't get shit like this. So like going down to London and like getting to experience it was really really great. It was like completely worth all of the fucking overtime and like the anxiety and stuff. And it's one of those things where like, you go to work, you work a fucking 12-hour shift, you come home, you fucking go to
Hmm.
bed, and then you go to work the next day. And
Yeah.
this was like one of those nice little breaks where, I made like a core memory. Like going to London for 2 days was like, I mentioned earlier, the play was like a coming of age sort of thing, but I never did any like
Yeah.
coming of age stuff when I was a kid. So like I'm doing more of that stuff now in like fragments. So this was
Yeah.
kind of like part of that, I feel like. But no, it was
I
like
mean, from
totally
from
worth
what you
it.
said, it seems like an older coming of age story as well. Because I mean, like some people do not they don't come into themselves in like their teenage years. They're it's like more like quote unquote college years or working years where you kind of like realize who you're supposed to be. So I mean, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I think that
And
like
yeah,
it's definitely
it's never
like
too late.
it's definitely romanticized a lot more when it comes to like films and things. And I
Yeah,
think there's like a lot of
100%.
pressure of like, you have to do all of this stuff when you're a teenager or in your early 20s. And if you don't do it, then you miss out.
Right.
Because like after
And
that,
it's
you're
just not
supposed to build a
true.
family. And it's like, hell
Fuck
no.
families.
Hell no.
Wait, don't do that.
So yeah, I'm impromptu, literally like after I finished, or I think it might have been the next morning, messaged my tattoo artist and I'm getting speed added to my tattoo.
Yay.
And the plan is that like I'd like to at least show them the tattoos that I get, but like it also, when you're doing like stage door, it's for the play. And
Right.
part of me, like the critical side of me, wants to be like, oh, you didn't, thank them for the play and like tell them how good they were and stuff and whatever and blah blah blah. But like it was still an insane experience for me, and
Mhm.
I've tried my best, like, not to be too critical about it. And, like, you know, oh, well, you should have asked about the signature and that sort of
No.
thing. And I'm like, I don't need to. Like, this was enough for me. Like, I went for the play. The
That's
play
good.
was amazing. I got to see him in person and, like, have an interaction. You know, I said on a earlier episode of the podcast, like, people are being super critical about people getting their, like, tattoos signed and stuff. And my experience is, like, being shared on, like, update accounts and stuff is, like, a positive thing.
Right.
So, you know,
That's good.
it ended up being a really, really positive thing. And I'm glad I went. And
I'm so happy for you.
hopefully, I get to see them at, like, a meet and greet. That's the plan.
Yeah, that would be like a Comic-Con would be the best place.
Something
to meet
that,
them,
you
so
know,
you can actually like
they're there for
get into the
Wiccan.
nerd of it. Yeah. Yeah,
But
no,
yeah.
that would be really cool.
But no, like, everybody's been, like, people that have reached out about, like, sharing the video and stuff have been, like, super nice about it. It's really elevated the experience past that. And then, like, you know, I barely slept that night, and then the next day went and watched the Black Phone 2, and then
Right.
London Dungeons, then came home. And bish bash bosh.
Exciting.
There we go.